despite being a middle school language arts teacher, I am a little introverted, so I'm dying up here. But I wanted to give you guys the choice. I can tell you a very somewhat funny and reflective story of being a child-free teacher in a child-filled world, or I can just regale you with stories of chaotic children and teacher fails. So, would you like to hear about being teacher or child-free, or would you like to hear about chaotic children? Sounds all right. They're more fun to talk about anyway. So I have 2 teacher fails that I have had in my life so far. My first one being my very first year of teaching. I actually inherited an 8th grade class. My district likes to loop our middle schoolers, so we get them for 7th grade, see them again for 8th grade. That's just so much easier because I know what to expect. But I didn't know what to expect because I got them their 8th grade year, and I apparently took over for a very cool teacher. And by cool, I mean they used their phones all the time. They didn't really get points for anything, but they all had A+ for some reason, I don't know. But those are some pretty big shoes to fill, and they had a lot of work to do. So I had one student, I'll just call him C, and he did not want to do any of the work. And every day, as soon as I gave the lesson, can I go to the bathroom? No, you can't go to the bathroom, we're not supposed to go. Can I go to the nurse? I don't feel good. Okay, but you were feeling fine when you were running around the room 5 minutes ago, so how about you do this first problem, and then I'll let you go to the nurse. I don't want to do that. Okay, that's fine, but I'm not going to let you leave the room. So for 10 minutes, every other minute, the student would come up to me, I need to use the bathroom. I'm not letting you go until I get a problem out of you. I need to go to the nurse. I need to see this teacher. And finally, I get in his face, and I was like, there is no way you are leaving this classroom unless you are dying or bleeding until I get my problem. I did not know 8th graders will call your bluff. So 2 minutes later, he comes up to me, grinning ear to ear, bleeding. I need to go to the nurse. I am bleeding. How did you get your ear to bleed like that? 2 valuable lessons that day. Number 1, sometimes you gotta give a little slack, let them use the bathroom, come back into that problem. And the second thing, and most importantly, do not use push pins in your walls to lift things up. He had taken a push pin and he had pierced his own ear, and I'm pretty sure he still has that piercing today at 22 years old. My second teacher fail is a little more recent, and it wasn't really a fail on my part, it was just a series of unfortunate events. Last year, I earned the nickname of Fire Starter. I was not the fire starter. One of my students, who I will call B, was the fire starter. We had this student, he had a penance for destroying things when he was bored or when he didn't want to go home. He had gone through 2 Chromebooks, 2 loaner Chromebooks, and after he was forbidden to use any type of technology in our classrooms, he would often try and find something else to destroy, whether it was pencils, staplers. At one point in my class, he was fine. He would just kind of sit there. On occasion, he'd get the work done. But I did not know, this fated day, that in the class period before, he had gotten a brand new phone and wanted to see what was inside of it. So he decided to take the back off of it, try and get the battery off, but apparently when you pick at a battery long enough and it starts to leak, it will start to smoke. So in the middle of our bell ringer, the kids are working quietly, he's off to the side somewhere, and all of a sudden I hear, Miss Burks, there's a fire. I turn around and this backpack is billowing smoke. I have never been in a fire situation in my life. The fire drills, I kind of sleep through, just get the kids out, bring them in, call it a day. So when I saw the smoke, I had no idea what to do. I leapt across my classroom, jumped over the backpack, ran out the room looking for the fire alarm. I don't know where the fire alarms are. And it looks like I just abandoned my children. So I had to run back into the room. I called than me. They went to a single file line. They went around the backpack as I'm running like a chicken with my head cut off. So, thankfully, my co-teacher, Robles, she found the fire extinguisher. And so as I was getting our kids out, she was able to put the fire out. Now, we saw no flames. It was smoke. But apparently when you use a fire extinguisher in a classroom, everything has to be bagged and washed. I think 26 Chromebooks had to be put into service. We do not have 26 loaners. But my students' biggest concern was whether or not our pet turtle, which I inherited from a cousin who does not want the turtle anymore, was still alive. There was a rumor for the next 2 days that the turtle had died, despite me having the turtle in my hand, saying he was alive. So, I felt like I could have handled that one better. Big shout out to my co-teacher, but those were my 2 teacher fails. That's all I got.